That's right. Every week we share tips to improve your physical health, mental health, social health, financial health, obviously, your intellectual health, and like today, your spiritual health. Today's episode is how to improve your spiritual health by being present. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. We here at Millionaires Are Made are on a mission to teach the world how to grow into the healthiest, happiest millionaires in all six aspects of health. And to do that, we went out and got three awesome guests to give us three awesome tips on how to improve our spiritual health by being present. In the spirit of authenticity and to try to remove as much bias as possible, we do not talk or discuss tips or advice before the show starts. So when our guests come on and share, it'll be our first time hearing them as well. Woohoo! Audience and viewers, this is an interactive show, so feel free to comment and ask questions. We do respond to them live on air. Real quick, we'll do one of our fun parts. This is our follower shout out section. Thank you so much for following us on Facebook, Tara Lafferty, Instagram, Donna Beers, TikTok, Maria Gonzalez, and on YouTube, Mikey Saggart. You guys are awesome. Can't do it without you. If you want to be shout out on our show, just follow us. Next up, we are always looking for new topics. We would love if you had a great one. We go through 2 topics every week. It can be any sort of topic, anything that you might be struggling or anything you might be an expert at. If you want to be on our show, we're always also looking for guests. Our goal is to have 8 billion people on our show. So we're almost there, but not quite if you haven't been on yet. A link to sign up and drop a topic is being dropped right now. On that note, if you do want to support us, we, just like everyone else in 2025, we love those little likes and clicks and shares and subscribes and whatever else is, however you're watching us. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Next up, we have merchandise now. If you want to have Millionaires Are Made shirts and hats and stuff, we have all that available for sale. We're dropping a link to our store right now. And finally, before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Brian Wright. If you want to get your brand in front of high-level entrepreneurs and personal growth leaders, reach out to Brian at Ultimate Achievers Magazine. Links being dropped right now, where industry icons meet a content-first audience. Next, we have Sarah Jones, used to be buried in debt and a failing marriage. And Sarah found a better way to handle money and now empowers others and helps them do the same. As a financial coach, she guides couples, individuals, and small businesses to build fun, healthy money habits. Our next sponsor is Biz by Right, the matchmaking service for people who love buying and or selling businesses. We find cash flowing deals, vet them with AI wizardry, and connect buyers and sellers faster than you can say due diligence. And our final sponsor is Brian Parana. Brian is a husband, father of 4, and founder of The Call to Rise, helping busy men reclaim their health, energy, and confidence through simple, sustainable systems that fit real life. Woohoo! Now that we got through our sponsors, it's time to bring out our first guest. Her name is Sarah. Sarah, tell us, who are you?
Hi, Austin. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Roccasano. I am an author, a motivational speaker, and the founder of Embolden Adventures that inspires personal, professional, and spiritual transformation.
Ooh, I like it. Well, Sarah, you sound like the person I want to talk to right now. I've got a question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health by being present, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Oh, there's so much advice, but a tiny piece of advice is to literally be present, to connect with what is going on in the immediate moment, to go within, to feel it out, and to start connecting with self.
Tell us how we can do that.
How we can do that? Well, one great trick is to take off your shoes and walk barefoot in nature and feel the wind on your skin, hear the birds chirping, see the sun shining. I think there's a lot there about nature that teaches you how to be present and connect in the now, because time is an illusion. Everything is in the now. There's no past, there's no future. We're in the now always. So it's important to be comfortable with who you are in the immediate moment. And that's what spiritual work really is doing for us.
That's good. There is no, yeah, we're always in the now. We have to be comfortable in the now because it's not going to work if you're not. Sarah, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
Oh, I continue to learn it. I started out, my 20-year career in New York City, in a very energetic city that was high paced, high stress, high pressure. And over time, my spiritual awakenings have been happening with working with past life regression facilitators and then going on travel adventures around the world, which I've been doing. I'm a grid worker, I'm a light worker, and I've been working a lot with the psychedelics and the plant medicines and shamans. So that's been my continual sort of progression away from leaving the matrix in New York City eventually, and now transforming into the person that I am authentically.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Sarah. We're going to bring you back out for the round robin. We'll move on to our next guest. Next up, we have Debbie. Debbie, tell us, who are you?
Great. I'm glad to be here. My name is Debbie Simmons, and I am a CEO of a nonprofit called Anchor Point. I'm also an author and speaker internationally. And then, kind of just for excitement, I am the adoptive mom of 9 wonderful children.
All of them are adopted.
Yeah, they're all adopted.
You are a hero. All right, Debbie. Debbie, I've got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health regarding being present, what
Mhm.
tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would tell you that the biggest thing you need to learn is when your body is getting triggered, meaning that you are feeling anxiety, you're feeling stress, and everything like that. If we can learn to identify that and name it, and then we can tame it. And that will allow us to be present.
Okay. Okay. That sounds logical. We can do that, right? Debbie, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
Well, I was blessed to learn that through my 9 children, because children are great triggers. They can find every little thing in you and trigger something in you that reminds you of something that maybe was in your history, and it like hits a chord, and all of a sudden you find this pressure in your chest, and it's like I've got to stop this, and it actually isn't the issue of the child. It is my history getting in the way. So I need to figure out, like, oh my gosh, when I train parents, we call it their shark waters. They've entered their shark waters, and it's like dun 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 dun. It's like the end, right? And as soon as I can say, oh my gosh, that's my shark waters, then we can instantly move out of the amygdala in our brain into our prefrontal cortex, which is where logical thinking happens. And we can figure out how to make our way through difficult situations, with our kids and with our life. But those triggered things cause us to lose focus on what is happening in the moment. And we want to be in the moment.
That's fascinating. All right. I have a great feeling we're going to talk more about that in the round robin. Debbie, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Next up, we have Regina. Regina, who are you?
Hi, Austin. It's so awesome to be back. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Regina Huber, transformational leadership and freedom coach, inspirational speaker, and author of a few books. My latest book is titled Living My Freaking Amazing Life, and that's exactly what I've done on several continents. I'm also the CEO of Transform Your Performance, where I guide leaders to live and lead with inner power and true freedom. And I'm the host of Rise to Lead podcast. So as you can see, my background is very eclectic and adventurous in several different continents. I speak 5 languages and work in 4. And I love, 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 love to dance. That's my fuel.
You love what?
To
To
dance.
dance. Okay. All right. What kind of dance?
It's changed over a lifetime, but currently mostly specific African dances such as Sabar from Senegal and Ndombolo from Congo.
Fascinating. I'm not familiar with either of those. I was just hoping you were going to say breakdancing. All right, Regina. I've got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health regarding being present. What tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Well, when you remind yourself to be present or to be presence, what you're really doing is remind yourself to be. So it's more than anything, it's about remembering. Remind yourself of being present, because in fact, presence is what you already are and what we all are, because we all are consciousness. So this is when you connect, when you actually remember this is also when you connect with your inner power, when you find your inner peace and your inner freedom. And that's also the freedom, in my opinion, to create the life you truly desire. And that's what I'm looking for. When we say get presence, I say be presence.
Get presence, be presence. I love it. All right, Regina. Oh man, you have such a history. I don't even know where to start. Let's move. Let's. You ready to move on to our round robin?
Yeah, sure.
I think that it's gonna be a fun one once we all get together here. All right, we're gonna bring Debbie and Sarah back out. Um, Audience, this is a great time to ask questions, and I guess let's start with the first one. Sarah, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
To be present is to stay in the moment, to stay in the now, and to connect with your senses in nature, and to find that inner sort of connection to spirit.
Debbie, what are your thoughts on her tip?
I think it's great to learn to connect to what is happening around you. And it's interesting. I love it. Like sometimes, even when I'm in a big business meeting, I'll go outside at the complex and take my shoes off and walk in the grass and get in the sun just so I can just de-stress and focus and just re-energize myself. So I love those kind of tips like that.
Regina, what are your thoughts on her tip?
Absolutely love going barefoot. We did it all the time as kids. We stepped into a lot of bees and wasps, I remember. And then we no longer, I wasn't doing it anymore because, of course, yes, I also lived in cities like New York City, Madrid, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, and it wasn't the natural thing to do, to just walk outside and go barefoot. But now I actually have a little garden and it's become so much easier. So I definitely do it every day again.
Definitely do. All right. Yeah, New York City cannot be an easy city to walk around shoeless in.
I did it once
Just once?
in
Just
Times Square.
Yeah,
okay.
and I did it a few times too, Austin, because I was lucky enough to live almost next to Central Park. So that certainly makes it easier. But yeah, but not as often as I do it now. So I definitely get the benefit. So thanks for that reminder, Sarah.
Debbie, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Sure. Mine was name your emotions that you are kind of struggling with at the moment so that you can tame them, so that you can be fully present.
Wow. Okay. All right. Regina, what are your thoughts on her tip?
Absolutely. I believe that we do not pay attention enough to our emotions, and that's why they get stuck and they're sitting there undigested, right? In our solar plexus area, or they get or they actually cause physical problems for us. And when we dare to focus on our emotions, when we dare to feel them, we can actually also then transmute them and allow them to be digested and to dissolve. So I love that.
Sarah? Sarah, what are your thoughts on her tip?
I like that because it goes along the vein of being connected and present. So, for example, if you're angry, and I've been angry a lot, I'm angry, and it almost like tells your brain there's a switch. It's like, oh wait, hold on a second. I need to be listened to. I need to listen to myself. I'm now calling it out, and when you call something out, it actually mitigates the bite, right? The feeling, and it may help you to calm down. So that's almost like a kill switch of your emotion getting away from you, and you're in the moment, back present again. I'm angry. Okay, I'm angry. Whew, calm down. Now what? Now what do I do? And so it's an awareness.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I feel like I've been starting to do that a bit lately. Um, yeah, good tip there, Debbie. So tell me more. How would
Yeah.
you see that? How would give us an example of how that happens in real life?
So for me, what I find is like I might be in a meeting, I might be doing something with my kids or whatever, and somebody does something that just like hits me in a way that is such a strong emotion compared to like what they're doing. If my kids are like when they were younger were misbehaving on the floor, that should make me so irate and mad that I like flip a switch. And so it is something in me that's getting triggered. And literally, if I can say, hey, that's a little strong. I'm upset, like Sarah said. I need to figure out what's going on because you know what? Whether it's a staff member or a friend or a kid, I don't want to ruin these relationships. I want to be able to be present. And if I can't be present if I'm all in my emotions. And so when I identify it, it takes down the pressure of it. So really it is moving from the amygdala part of your brain, which is your fight and flight type thing, to your prefrontal cortex, where thinking actually happens. You know, it's kind of like, have you ever heard that thing where they say, hey, write the text, but don't send it? And you write the text when you're really mad and you write and you wait 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and you reread it and you're like, oh my gosh, that would have been terrible if I would have sent it. That's all it is we are getting out of the emotional part of our brain. We're getting into the part of our brain that we can think. And when we think, we make better choices and we are more present.
All right, Regina, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Yes, remember that you are presence. So, how do you do that? How do you remember it? Well, you could set reminders on your phone. Every time you hear a reminder, you will pause, close your eyes, maybe.
Ooh,
Deep
okay.
belly breathing definitely supports this. So, in through your nose, out all the way down into your abdomen, out through your mouth. Focus on your breath and just allow yourself to be. And it's very simple. And I actually like simple because that's what we do. When it's too complex, then we won't do it. So you don't need to meditate for hours to get to that being present state because you already are it. And your energy, your consciousness, and as such, your presence. And so, and this is an optional tool that I would like to suggest that can really help a lot. You can actually anchor this presence feeling, this state of presence into your body, into your cellular memory. So when you feel like you are present, when you're doing this exercise, that you are presence, that's when you pick a simple hand gesture, one you don't use for other purposes, ideally, and then you create an association between the two, the gesture and the state of presence. And that's how you can quickly trigger this. In this case, the trigger is a good thing. Trigger this state of presence whenever you want, just by using that hand gesture and closing your eyes, ideally, so that you are not distracted.
Sarah, you're up to respond to that.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I think we're all speaking the same language. We all are connected in a sense where we understand the connection between heart and mind and spirit. And it's all about going within and being aware of how you are energetically. So I'm right on with Regina in terms of that. It's forcing ourselves to go within, pay attention, what's happening. And that also happens, with if you're sick, for example. And that's one thing I'm learning to do is I'll go within and try to kind of pinpoint in my mind's eye, where the pain is resonating from, where maybe the stuck mucus is in my lungs, and, maybe where my throat is, scratchy. And I'll try to envision, going within with my third eye, like pink healing energy. So that's, again, a presence, an awareness, a connection. And so I think I'm, agreeing a lot with what Debbie and Regina have to say. It's an awareness and it's a practice, and we continue to, look within always in the now.
Debbie, what are your thoughts on Regina's tip?
Well, from Regina's tip, I'm a practical girl also, and I think kind of building on her tip is this idea of kind of 5-4-3. And what I teach children and I teach adults is like, hey, if you are struggling with being fully present, then name for me 5 things that you see in the room right now. Name for me 4 parts of your body. Name for me 3 colors. Name for me 2, thoughts that you have. And one is name something that you're grateful for. And so those things kind of reorient you to being fully aware of where you are and not stuck in those emotions. Because I think it's the emotions that get us distracted from that.
Well said. Anyone want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I would like to say something because on the one hand, we have that presence with what is around us, right? Which Debbie just was talking about. And then we can have this going inside presence possibility that then allows us to connect with our inner power, with our inner freedom, and everything that allows us to actually believe in ourselves again in that moment, even if we are going through or when we are going through a tough moment in life. And I think there that the two possibilities, and I just wanted to point that out, because one is, okay, become present with what is around you, the people around you, the objects around you, so that you come back to that present moment. And the other one is more like, okay, connect with that limitless consciousness that you are. And I also really liked that Sarah mentioned the word awareness, because that's what it's really all about.
All right, we have a question from the audience. What makes it so difficult to stay present? Sarah just laughs.
I'll go with that. Yeah, because our brain is going into the future. We're already thinking about like 7 million things, right? Well, what if? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so we're panicking. We're not trusting the flow. We're not being, reeling ourselves back in and saying, hold on a second, deep breath. I'm here right now. There's no what if, there's no future right now. I'm making the future this moment. So I'll give an example. I am in the middle of recording my audiobook for my upcoming book that's coming out. And quite frankly, reading the text and recording is actually, there's microsecond bursts of panic. Am I going to say the right word? Am I going to like flub, right? And so that's advanced being in the present, kind of work, is just trusting that you're in kind of a flow process. Or if you're a baseball player, right, you're like in the zone. And so the baseball player isn't panicked about like hitting the home run. He's just in the moment, right? When I played softball, in the moment. So if you panic and you're already in 10 steps ahead, you're going to strike out. Or if in my case, if I'm panicked and I'm not going to read that word right, I'm going to flub and have to start over and re-record the audio again. So it's almost like you got to be comfortable with being in the present and letting things unfold and having no idea what's going to happen next.
Are there times you mess up and your audiobook doesn't exactly match your text?
Well, it's flubbing words. It's my brain's playing tricks on me. It's like, oh wait, I read the wrong word, or it's like a she shelled by the seashore, and you just flubbed it, and you're like, I got to do it again. So you almost like get scared that if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna have to record. So it's almost like get rid of that fear, be in the now, let it flow, and that's hard, but it's a practice.
Fascinating.
I think I have something that might be helpful to you. Is I think that for us in this day and age, we run at too fast a pace. So we have, the world at our fingertips and our cell phones. We have, life with children and everything else, that they've just got sports. It's nonstop. It's 24/7. And it is very hard not to, like Sarah said, pick up anxiety and worry over what's coming next, or how am I arranging my schedule, or this is changing something, or looking back and going, oh, I should have done this differently, and living with regret and stuff like that. And that causes us to keep off of what is central. So I would say, hey, are we brave enough to stop and like put our cell phones down, even for like 20 minutes, or 10 minutes if we can't figure it out, and just go, oh, let's figure out what life is like, because it is a practice to learn to be present. I had to teach my staff that they couldn't, if I was breezing through the building to get something, they couldn't ask life altering questions as I'm running through the building. I'm like, they had to learn to go, hey, I need to have a conversation where you're fully present. And we learned to communicate where I could go, okay, I'm ready. I'm fully present. The phone's down. I'm totally focused on you. And let's do this. But this is an art that we learn together. And so I go, we just have to practice this. And it is very hard in this day and age to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add something that goes with that
Please do.
practice, actually, and it's that it's not so much about staying in presence as it is coming back to presence. You always have the choice to choose again, to come back. And that's what the practice consists of. Because if you think you have to stay in presence, you will get frustrated and then you will judge yourself. And that's not really beneficial. That's actually counterproductive. So it's about coming back to that presence that you are.
Coming back. All right. All right, guys. Any last words? Otherwise, it's time to start our daily challenge. Who has a last thought?
I think it's worth it. I think being present is worth it. We cannot help, like when I think about my children and they have trauma backgrounds, I cannot help them walk through their trauma histories if I am not fully present with them. And it is invaluable when I can give them that gift. And so I can't lead people where I've not been and dealt with my stuff so that I can be fully present. But it is a gift that we have to give to people, and it's a privilege to learn to master this art.
That's a really good point.
I'd say being present makes you calm. And in order for you to be calm, you have to trust and surrender to the unfolding.
Yeah, and that's also that it's actually our natural way of being. We just don't remember it. Just like we have a natural way of breathing that we don't practice for the most part, we usually practice shallow breathing instead of deep belly breathing, right? So that's similar. And that's why this deep belly breathing is such a simple way to bring us back to that presence that Sarah just described, where you actually can find your power.
Well, those were some good last words. All right. We got one last thing to do before we wrap up this episode. We must come up with a daily challenge, which consists of a task and or series of tasks that take less than 5 minutes a day, cost $0, and are available to anyone in the world, that helps us improve our spiritual health by being present. What ideas do you guys have?
Walk barefoot in nature.
I would say set reminders on your phone, not alarms, reminders. There are even apps for that now, so also free ones actually, so there's no excuse. And find the one that suits you on your phone app store and set the reminder for maybe every 15 minutes for the next 7 days. And then don't ignore the reminders, right? And every time you hear those reminders, you will remind yourself to be present. So close your eyes, set the intention to connect to your essence, which is consciousness and as such presence, and breathe. And if you have actually previously anchored this state with the hand gestures I just suggested earlier, I wouldn't be able to do an audio recording right now, Sarah. Anyway, so if you previously anchored this state with a hand gesture, then you can simply trigger that state again. How cool is that?
Did you say every 15 minutes?
You could do every 5 minutes if you want, or every 30 minutes. But I
Oh.
think 15 minutes is a good thing to start with. You don't have to do this for a year, but it gets you into that rhythm and into the mechanism of remembering, and yeah, gives you the practice.
Okay. All right. So we got to set timers, walk barefoot.
You want me to go ahead and go?
Really,
Okay,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
I would say there's a couple of things. One is I would challenge us all to figure out how to put our cell phones down for even 5 or 10 minutes a day and just notice what's even around us, or everything like that, because it'll change everything based on how we are so connected to cell phones nowadays. And then the other thing that I love to do is every morning to take time to just either have a cup of coffee, sit quietly, and just really acknowledge all the things that I am so grateful for, that keep me fully present, and not worried about tomorrow or looking back, but that just, wow, I'm grateful that I'm breathing today, and I'm grateful that I have a chance to go and lead a nonprofit. I'm grateful that I have a husband. I'm grateful that I have money to provide for my family, and I think that those small things change our perspective on everything.
Okay, so I'm combining all of this into something. Give me just a second. Regina, we're gonna take your 15 minutes and turn it into an hour. Um,
Generous.
At least if it's an hour, it happens
during
24 times a day.
If you don't sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah. If we're gonna turn the timer off for the nighttime. So it's supposed to be 5 minutes a day. So if we do it for like 8 hours, that gives us like 20 seconds. So when the timer goes off, we're going to. When timer goes off, we're gonna say something we're grateful for. Something. And what else? Regina, you said just notice things around you. So maybe like, maybe take a deep breath.
Yeah, for me, I said actually to focus on your inner power and peace. But take a deep breath on and really practice belly breathing. So in through your
The old
nose.
belly breathing, and then I'm going to have you name 3 things you see. And Sarah, I think we're not going to be able to do run outside barefoot. I mean, I
Why? I'm
guess if
barefoot
you have a
now.
backyard, you could do these. But you're not outside
You can
nature.
hang out on the front
But you are
lawn.
right, because
I was
yeah,
kayaking
if you
barefoot
have
in New Hampshire, and then I walked onto some deserted island barefoot. Of course you can. I did it in New York City.
yeah, but you can't do that every
Of course
day.
you can.
If you live in New York City,
Well,
you can't go walk on an island barefoot every
they
day.
can definitely start by getting ready by dropping their phone and laying their phone down to do this exercise.
Yeah, so I have that as well. So then 15 minutes after the hour, you can't use your phone.
Oh, there you go.
I hope
Cool.
that's on there somewhere.
Okay.
All right, I have walk outside barefoot if you can. There's just some people that may not be able to. They may not have a yard or something. I don't know.
Walk on the
Every
sidewalk.
hour to go down
Or on
like
your
30
rooftop in
stories.
Manhattan.
I guess I'm
You could
only.
go barefoot on your rooftop
Yeah,
in Manhattan.
I'm only thinking of New Yorkers. I guess 90% of people probably can go walk outside. It's just the New Yorkers that are stuck
You know what? I
in the
think even if you
concrete
just
walls.
get rid of your rubber soles and just walk in your apartment barefoot, that's already something,
Yeah, it
because the
helps you to
rubber is
feel.
what
Yeah,
It
keeps
at
you
least
has
from grounding.
that, that's right, because your bottom of your feet have nerve endings, and it
Mhm.
also, if you believe in the Chinese medicine, all the points, pressure points of your feet coordinate to your various organs. So of course, it's important to feel. It's almost like a second set of hands.
Mhm.
They also have a grounding mat that you can use inside,
Mhm.
that you can stand on. Then
there
you're
you go.
grounded all day long.
I'm barefoot now.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
me
go.
too.
I could show you my feet,
Yeah,
but
but
I won't
we're
do it.
barefoot, but I'm the only one that's outside. You guys are all inside. Um, but I guess yeah. I mean, if you don't want to do that part of the challenge, don't do it. But while you're taking your deep belly breaths and the timer went off and you're naming things, you can also be walking outside barefoot, all within the same realm of 30 seconds, and do that 8 times a day. Holy cow, we're gonna be so present this next week.
See?
And you
Then
have a
guess what?
you have
All
a
right,
Once
awesome,
beautiful
guys.
that
background to
happens,
be present.
Right. It's you gotta reprogram yourself.
yeah, and then once you become
Yeah.
present, then your psychic gifts start to open. Wait till we start talking about the third eye and telepathic gifts. That's just the next step. We start connecting with our ESP. So
Mhm.
being present is quite important. It's the first step of many steps of your extrasensory perceptions and your telepathy and your gifts. So we're in a time of ascension. Things are happening now.
You will also hear
There you
your
have it.
intuition more easily again, by the way. And your
Right.
intuition is your true voice. It never lies. It always tells the truth. Nice side effect.
There we have it. All right, we've got an awesome challenge. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you so much, Sarah, Debbie, and Regina. Um, we learned so much about a topic you might think is so simple. And thank you, all viewers. Hopefully, you guys definitely learned something about being present in your spiritual health. We've got an awesome daily challenge. So this is going to be kind of open ended. You can do we're going to set a timer while you're like awake, so 8 to 12 hours a day. You can do it every 15 minutes. You can get really wild and do it every 5 minutes, or you can just set it for like every hour. But when that timer goes off, we set our phone down and we don't use it. We take a deep belly breath or 5, depending on how challenging you want this. We're going to name 3 things that we see to keep ourselves present. And if you have the ability and you don't live in New York or a giant skyscraper, we're going to walk outside barefoot and get some of that grounding done. And I think that is all that I have. Yep, that looks like it. So